Stricter term limits for state lawmakers. That's the focus of issue 3 that'll be on the ballot for the November election. It would limit state lawmakers to no more than serving 10 years in the legislature. That can be in the House, Senate, or both.
Well, right now the limit is 16. Jesse Jenner is joining us now this morning for our final ballot issue debate. Good morning, Jesse.
Yeah, good morning, Rebecca and Pat. Joining me now is Tim Jacob with Arkansas Term Limits, and then Jeff Pitchford with the Arkansas Farm Bureau. And so, Tim, I wanted to start with you first just because you're leading the push to change this. So why should Arkansans vote for this?
Well, currently we've been working under, for the last 4 years, we've been working under term limits that has been prescribed by legislators and lobbyists and sponsored by a convicted felon. We don't think that's right. We think that the voters have already spoken twice on term limits in 2 landslide elections before it was sabotaged by the legislature. And we think the voters of Arkansas deserve a chance to vote on that again. We've said it twice. In landslide elections, 75 out of 75 counties said no to the legislature last time before they sabotaged us in 2014.
Now, Jeff, what's your argument against term limits?
Well, the group that's pushing this is out of Washington, D.C. They've spent over $400,000 in Arkansas. This is not an Arkansas-based push. We have term limits. We think they work. We also have term limits, not only the 16 years that we have, but Arkansans have term limits every 2 years when they go to the ballot box and cast their vote. This just puts a handcuff. We're handcuffing ourselves on this issue. And it's going to be, if it passes, it would be the most strict and most severe term limits of any state in the country. And we just feel like this is not good for Arkansas.
Now, Tim, let's talk about how this would affect state government that people have kind of, I guess, grown accustomed to. So, I mean, this would really wipe out a lot of the lawmakers who have been serving there a while, right?
No, we lived under this term limits for the last 25 years. It worked fine. The sky is falling mentality is just not going to work. We don't believe that. We think it was the most deceptive amendment possible when the legislature changed this 4 years ago. And that's not just us saying that. Former Governor Huckabee said that voters were sucker punched. The statewide newspaper called it the outrage of the year and manifest fraud. We don't think voters should be defrauded. We think voters should have a chance to vote on this. And we have said yes to term limits twice in 2 landslide elections. We think the voters should do it again.
Jeff, what's your argument to the fact that this will kind of clean house?
Well, let me answer your question. Absolutely. 80 out of 100 in the House will be gone in 2 years, and half the Senate would be gone in 2 years. But let's look at how it happens just naturally. Right now, we know in January there will be 15 new House members. Of those 15, there may be others because we have election in a couple of weeks, but at least 15 new ones. Of those 15 new that we know of, none of them because of term limits. There's a natural turnover. We have a citizen legislature. Okay, this is not a full-time. This is a part-time legislature, and when you look at the Senate, it's the same way. There's 7. Only one of those of new ones in the January. Only one of them is because of term limits now. So there's a natural turnover. You put this in place. 80% of the House is gone in 2 years. Half of the Senate's gone in 2 years. That's just too dramatic. We have term limits now, and I hear a lot of people talking about, well, we need this for Washington. This has nothing to do with Congress. I think a lot of people think that this issue is for their congressmen. I've had people come up to me and talk about, is this going to affect, our congressman here? And I say, no, this has nothing to do. This is just the Arkansas legislature.
Well, Jeff, Tim, like we were saying before, we could debate this for a long time, so I appreciate you both being on the show. Wanted to give a quick note to everybody watching, too. This is the last issue that the Arkansas Supreme Court is going to rule on, and they should be doing that today. That's what we're hearing. And so we could know if your votes on issue 3 will count as soon as today. And stay with us. We'll be coming back after a quick break.